Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Indie Choice Picks. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Marcel Dupree, and excuse me, and he has some pretty interesting ideas underneath his sleeve. First off is Babylon Working, which is about space pirates and Cthulhu. Let's let that sit in your brain for a second. And on number two, he's the creator of LaFay, which is a pretty interesting comic. The artwork is fantastic. So Indiegogo has Babylon Working number two, as well as Kickstarter. So those links are always in the description. So go down there and show Marcel and his team some support, as well as issue number one of LaFay, which is free to read for everybody. So you can find that link in the description as well. Issue number two has already been run successfully on Indiegogo, and we are waiting on issue number three of LaFay on Indiegogo too. But I'm not going to tell you much about it. I'm going to let Marcel do that for you. So without further ado, guys, enjoy this episode of Indie Choice Picks with Marcel Dupree, the creator of Babylon Working and LaFay. Enjoy. Hey, Marcel, thank you for coming on to the show, brother. How you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Good,
And
good,
thank you
good.
for having me.
No problem, bro. So you got a comic book coming out. I saw the link that you sent me. I haven't gotten a chance to get into it yet, but I'm gonna turn the mic over to you. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your comic book.
Okay, my name is Marcel. I'm the owner of Evolution Publishing. I write with my writing partner, Joshua Metzger. We have a comic that's currently on Indiegogo called Babylon Working. It's a sci-fi horror comic about a group of space pirates that are hired to pull off a heist. The heist goes right, but ends up going wrong because they get in over their head and end up in battle with a Cthulhu cult.
A Cthulhu Cult.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we were working on it for about a year. We're on issue 2 right now on Indiegogo. The artist is Manich Francisco. The colorist is Chuck Obach. And the letterer is Marco De La Vila, I think is his name. Sorry, I don't remember his name.
It sounds like you got a pretty big team over there working on this book.
Yes, we do.
Nice. How did your issue number one? How did that go for you?
It went pretty well. The Kickstarter did okay. The Indiegogo didn't do well. Usually don't do well on Indiegogo for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Did
We
you
need to
launch
get
it
our.
on Kickstarter afterwards, and it got more
Oh,
traction, or
it
what?
was. We usually do Kickstarter first and Indiegogo.
Okay.
This time we're doing Indiegogo and Kickstarter at the same time.
Okay. That makes sense. So,
Yeah.
space pirates, they pull off a heist, get
Yeah.
involved with a Cthulhu-like cult. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so we have 5 pirates. We have an android named Juan. The leader is a shapeshifter named Nuru. The pilot's name is Tessa. And then we have a dog fox lady with a robot arm, with a cybernetic arm. Her name's Kasune.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a porcupine-like alien. Her name is Atian. Atian. They've been working together for several years. They're pretty good friends, and they just do whatever they need to do to make money. And they're hired to steal something off of a cargo ship. They break into the cargo ship. They steal what they need to steal, but turns out that it's a Cthulhu monster. And now there's a cult after it. There's a group of scientists that want it because, yeah.
That's
It's a
awesome, dude.
five. Thanks. It's a 5-issue miniseries. We're we're in the middle of drawing issue 2. We're writing issue 3 right now. We hope to try to get it out bi-monthly.
Interesting. Okay. How did you come up with the idea for the story? I mean, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about Cthulhu lately. I guess because of like coronavirus and stuff floating around, so people are making like jokes like they're waiting for just Cthulhu to come and finish us off. And so it's so funny because now we have a story about Cthulhu like entity that you've come up with, and it's just, I think the timing is just perfect for it. So how did you come up with this idea? I knew it have to have been way before now. You've come up with this
Yeah.
idea before everyone started talking about Cthulhu.
I met Mannix online, and he told me he wanted to draw some. He wanted to draw some sci-fi comic. So I came up with some characters. Came up with the team. He designed the team. Then I took the designs to my partner Joshua. We talked about a potential story. First is going to be a story about a character who is in a video game, but they don't know that they're in a video game. We didn't get it. We couldn't get it to work. So since I'm a big Outlaw Star fan, I was like, how about we just do Space Pirates? And Joshua was like, yeah, sure. We talked about the story, and that's how we came up with it. He came up with the title because he's big into the whole. He does a lot of reading and research.
And you wrote the story, right?
He and I work on it together.
Got
Joshua
you.
and I work on it together. We're a writing team.
So how long before you did your first issue, how long did it take to actually write the story?
Not that long. We worked on it for about a month,
Oh, wow.
and then we started the script. Yeah, he and I work pretty fast.
Nice. I mean, it's also fun to work with a partner. I've been having a lot of husband and wife couples on the show lately who
Mm-hmm.
one writes, the other draws, the other one checks out the work. So it's a lot of fun like that. It always seems to go by faster when you're working with a partner, unlike me, who most of the time I work by myself. So it takes a bit longer for me to kind of get content out. And I know a lot of
Mm-hmm.
artists who do that, but you also work with other groups of people who do the art covers, the lettering, stuff like that. How did you find those
Yeah.
people? Tell us a little bit about them.
I found Mannix on Instagram. I was just
Okay.
browsing Instagram one day, and I came across this art. I hired him for a couple of covers, and after he did a couple of covers, I was like, "How about we work on a sequential story together?" He said, "Yeah." Um, Chuck came through Mannix. Mannix recommended Chuck, who's the colorist, and Marco. I met on a website called Digital Webbing like 10 years ago. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No, I know. Actually, that website isn't even up anymore. I kind of know what it is, but elaborate for people who don't.
The Digital Webbing used to be a forum place for indie comic creators,
Hmm.
and people will post scripts, post art, post colors and letters. Basically, to find talent on there, you can find people to critique your work, help you become better. So yeah, I used to spend a lot of time on there. That's how I met Marco. That's how I met a lot of artists.
That's cool, man. I know a lot of people that use other sites like Upwork or Fiverr to kind of find their artists. So whenever I need like concept work done or a
Mm,
colorist page, if it's too much for me, I have a guy in the Philippines who does like the coloring or like some drafting for me if I'm just like too overwhelmed. So it's always good to work with a group of people and some teams because it just makes it go. It just you build that relationship, you become friends, even though you technically like 9 times out of 10 haven't met. And it's just one of those things where you can just get along with people and make your story come to life. And I think that's pretty cool.
yeah,
So you said your first issue didn't go over well.
yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your first campaign. What did you do then versus what you're doing now?
Okay, so for the first Indiegogo, basically all I did was it was I launched Babylon Working #1 off the back of LaFay #1, and so people were really into LaFay, which is another comic Joshua and I did.
Yeah, I saw
So
that. That
basically,
looks good. I like that one. So when you want an
thank you,
Indiegogo for that one, let me know because I'm
will
hooked.
do. So basically, I just messaged those backers from Indiegogo and told them about the um the Babylon Working one, and they backed. I really didn't do much marketing. I'm not really good at podcasts, going on podcasts and live shows.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to stay away from them. And Joshua hates doing them, so he doesn't do them at all. So most of our marketing is just sharing online and then word of mouth.
Right. And that's usually like the number one way most people do it. They usually, before pre-launch, they're sharing artwork, they're sharing a little bit of the content and stuff like that. And it doesn't hurt to show some of the same content twice. I found that most people who like what you post, I don't know, Monday won't even see it if you post it again. On Friday, they'll get a like or two or retweet or whatever, and they'll start spreading it around, which is really good. So most people don't understand when you're writing a book, we're indie comic creators, man. They're like a dime a dozen, dude. We're everywhere. No one really knows one indie comic creator's name. So when you're trying to get
Yeah.
people to buy your book or get into your story, it's kind of hard because, I mean, we're not really famous. You know, we're doing this out of our own pockets or in our spare time. So it's always fun to kind of get the crowd going with some of your content, your art, a little bit about what you're doing. And the more you do that, and the more you post regularly, the more traction you'll start to get. I'm starting to slowly figure that out. So it's also a very good like game to play. You know, not post too much, but just enough to get the people interested in what you're doing, and that's what kind of leads to a more successful crowdfunding campaign.
Yeah, I tend to start off with posting character designs. Then I go into sequentials, and as we get closer to the launch, I show off the variant covers, give out preview pages.
Mm-hmm.
Like for LaFay, we're trying to prep LaFay number 3, so we're basically giving a PDF of LaFay number 1 for everyone to read.
Mm-hmm.
So we think you get to read number 1, they'll want to get more. So when number three launches, they'll be ready.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about LaFay, because I think was the free PDF of issue 1 that you sent me, and I loved it. So maybe you can talk a little bit about LaFay and like how you came up with her and that idea.
LaFay is based on the Arthurian legend character Morgan Le Fay. So the story is LaFay fought Merlin. The fight didn't go well. She lost. She was imprisoned. She woke up in modern times, powerless. In order to get her powers back, she has to work for these 3 witches, carrying out their bidding, solving mysteries and crimes. This story, she has to help one of the witches' nieces, and so she goes there to her house. She was murdered. Her and her sidekick Billy, and they discover that someone named Spring Hill Jack is behind it, and turns out Spring Hill Jack has a boss. Don't want to say who he is yet, and yeah, that's about it.
That's really cool, man. I like the art on the pages that you sent out. Is it the same team working on Babylon? Is it the same team that did LaFay, or is it completely different?
No, LaFay is Miguel Angel Ruiz and Vittorio A. Stone. I don't know how I came across Miguel's art. I'm just lucky that I found him. And then Vittorio, I've known Vittorio for about 8 years. Him and I have been working on and off. He's a great colorist. He colors for IDW and Volt. He does a lot of the Volt comics.
Oh wow, IDW, that's cool.
Yeah. The inspiration for Morgan was basically I was watching. I remember the Merlin TV series from the late '90s on NBC, and I was watching Lost Girl. I was like, okay, we should combine these 2 and see what happens.
You know, I've never watched Lost Girl. It's been in my freaking queue for like years. I never like picked on it. Is it really like is it a good show, a good sci-fi show to get into?
It's not really sci-fi. It's more urban fantasy.
Okay.
So I don't know why it was really on the Sci-Fi Channel, but yeah, it's a good show to get into. I used to watch that and Being Human, the American version.
I saw that one with Sam Witwer. I love Sam Witwer. He needs to be in more stuff. That dude is freaking Star Killer. I love Star
It's a
Killer.
pretty good show.
Yeah. So, can you hear me? You kind of frozen up there.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Technical difficulties, folks. Stay you back?
Yeah, wait, it's in and out. And you try moving.
Okay.
See if that helps. Is that better?
All right, we're back. Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. We're kind of coming down to the end of our time here, Marcel. So I like to kind of have people on my show drop some knowledge. You've had successful Indiegogo campaigns and Kickstarters, and majority of the people who watch my show are trying to do the exact same thing for their ideas and comics. So what I like to ask all my guests is, what's the one piece of advice you can give to aspiring crowdfunders to get their comic book successfully funded?
Set a daily goal and don't stop sharing until you achieve that goal. Like my first campaign ever, my goal was like to get at least 10 backers a day.
Okay.
So I would share online, and I would code message people on Facebook. You know how they have Facebook ads? So
Yeah.
I would click on the Comixology ad. Everyone who liked the Comixology ads, I would message them about my Kickstarter.
Okay.
And I did not stop doing that until I got 10 backers a day.
That sounds like a lot of work for you, man. How did that? How long would it take you? Would it take you all day to get those 10 backers, or once you started to get the hang of it, it just kind of snowballed?
It took about 6 hours a day of work.
Wow.
You just copy and paste the message, copy and paste, copy and paste.
Now, how many people did you have to message? Like, what was the ratio? Like, for every 10, you get one or whatever?
That's basically about it. Yeah, 10% of people are back.
Wow. So you must do it to get 10 backers. You had to have messaged about 100 people a day.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, dude. But I guess that copy and paste kind of helps a little bit, right?
It does. Copy and paste, because I'll copy and paste my intro, and then we'll start to develop a conversation, and then I'll give them the Kickstarter link.
So right now, what is the time frame for your Indiegogo for Babylon? Is that currently active, or you haven't started it yet?
It's active. We have 9 days left. We have 57 backers, I think.
Oh, wow. Did you already surpass your goal already?
Yeah. For Indiegogo, we tend to put a low goal because we don't get much traction on our Indiegogos. So our goals are like 500, and then the Kickstarter has the real goal.
Oh, okay.
So the real goal is 7,000, and we haven't passed that yet on Kickstarter. We're at 5,200, but Indiegogo we have $2,000. So yeah, we're pretty much good.
You're pretty much rolling along, man.
Yeah, the more backers, the better. So we get the books out faster, and we just get the books out faster and work on more content.
Right. All right. Well, there you go, folks. If you're interested in Babylon, I got the Indiegogo link. I will post that in the description below. And Marcel, if it's okay with you, could I post the link to LaFay #1?
Yeah. Yes, please do that.
For sure, guys. So you got 2 comics from one awesome creator. Go check them out. I know I'm gonna get my copy of Babylon because I like the whole concept. I mean, space pirates. You can't get any better than space and pirates. It's wrapped up into one. You just can't.
Yeah.
So I know another guy who's doing kind of like the same thing, just without Cthulhu, called Outlaw Knights, and that I will have Ben, who's the creator of that the creator of that comic, on the show next weekend. So space pirates seem to be kind of like a growing trend these days, next to Cthulhu for some reason. So, all right, Marcel. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the show, man. I really appreciate it. Please keep me posted on LaFay #3, because I would really like to get into that and maybe get my hands on the previous issues. I like to have actual copies in my hand for sure.
All right, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem, buddy. You stay safe out there. Wash your hands. Don't want that COVID. And I will see you on Twitter, my buddy.
All right.
All right, man. Have a good weekend.
Thanks. You as well.
Bye.
Bye.
And that is it for this episode of Indie Choice Picks. Guys, We made it to season 3. I'm excited. I am so stoked to get new creators onto this show. If you are an indie comic book creator or a writer or whatever, as long as it's indie, I want you guys to come onto the show. I am now taking submissions to have guests onto this show, and you guys are all welcome to come and join me on the show. I think I said show more than once. Anyways, you can find me on Twitter at Heroic Studios, or you can hit me up on Instagram, Will at Heroic Studios. Both of my tags and links to my social media is right there. So please let me know if you guys are interested in coming onto the show. I will see you guys next time with another fun, filled, exciting